All right. Merry Christmas, everyone, including the Boomer Paxson. This is, I guess, the last show before Christmas, so I want to try and keep it like relatively happy. Anyway, it's another Monday night chill stream. There's always fun stuff happening in the world and on social media, and I figured I wasn't doing too much today. I really didn't do too much. I've been like killing myself doing. I decided to do more exercise than I need to do, and I was sore as fuck. So I just did some dry fire practice today. I lifted a little bit, and then I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing, which is considering I'm the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, I was crazy busy, and I drove I don't know how many fucking miles. So like on my day off, it's really like the total busman's holiday. I don't want to do anything. And like during the week, I'm always like finding stuff on Twitter. I'm like, oh, I'll talk about this. I'll talk about that. And that's tonight's show. Apagorevmeno, which is a Greek word that I had to actually look up. Don't tell anybody before the show. Like I don't say it all the time, but it's Apagorevmeno. And it means forbidden. It's what we talk about here. It's the stuff you're not allowed to talk about. You're not supposed to talk about. And all the sort of those sensitive subjects, right? That's why we do what we do. You know what I mean? Nobody's making money off this. Nobody's at least I'm not making any money off this. You know what I mean? So it's just a place to say the things that in different times and different places we would be able to say without worry. But now we have to sort of look over our shoulder a lot of times because you're not allowed to say stuff, and you're going to get shut down by the forces that be. the forces that be fucking with us, quite frankly. But Virgil Doc, Purple Heart, welcome to the show. I'll have you know, I don't know if you heard the intro music. We're back to the old intro music, not the new intro music, because someone complained to the station manager, and they sat me down and they said the advertisers are not happy with the changes and go back to the previous format. So we're back in the previous format. Anyway, so there's I know it's Christmas, and I know everybody's hopefully doing something fun and being with people you like, that like you, and or you can patch things up enough to get through the holidays. You know what I mean? Even though you might not get along with your family or relatives, and generally, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to try to put stuff aside and stop. Like, as soon as your lips touch alcohol, you can't go like raving about the small hats. Like, you just let it go for Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, you just do Christmas stuff and talk about the lights and whatever, and go skiing or do whatever it is you do. So that would be best for all concerned, and hopefully you get to do that. For those of you who live close to, or have good relationships with the people in their lives. Anyway, last week, there is the constant theme of, you keep thinking, man, it can't get worse, but I swear to God, it can always get worse. You know what I mean? You have to have like kind of almost like a Russian fatalism. There's a joke. It's a Russian joke, so it's not funny in a conventional sense, but there's a joke like, what's the difference between a Russian optimist and a Russian pessimist? And a Russian pessimist looks at the world the way it is today and says, this is terrible. I can't believe how bad the world is. And the Russian optimist looks at the world, sees how it is, and says, oh no, it could get a lot worse. You know what I mean? So, and that's kind of the attitude you have to have, a darkly humorous attitude, because the world and the universe likes to play jokes on you, and some of them for a very, very, very long time. I'm going to start the show with this first screen share. Let's do this first screen share. I just saw this, and it's always the thing that catches my eye. But my worldview is that the Aristotle worldview, right? Something always comes from something. Something does not come from nothing. I don't believe in the Big Bang theory, right? That's a scientific theory that there was nothing. All of a sudden, from nothing, boom, the entire universe was created in a flash. And we've been going now, I don't know how many billions of years, or tens of or hundreds of billions of years. Like everything you see came from nothing. That doesn't make any sense. That's illogical. And I understand we don't know where it all came from or where it all started, but something always comes from something. And I was reminded of this in this story right here, which I thought was pretty comedic for me at any rate. But it goes to kind of a larger point. And let's see when it comes up. This was I just saw this a couple of days ago, but this is way, way truer than you would think, and it has to do with roughly what's going on today, right? So they found a shrine, an Islamic shrine in Turkey. Turned out to be not an Islamic shrine. It's actually the shrine of a ancient Greek boxer named Diagoras, right? Who lived, when did he live? Let me see. I gotta go look this up. But he lived a very, very long time ago, like 2,300 years ago. And he won the Olympics in boxing, and his sons won the Olympics as well. And when Islam came to the Pontic region, when Islam came to Asia Minor, people kept going there and paying their respects and worshiping at that tomb. And Islamic soldiers, believing that there was an Islamic saint buried there, used to go take handfuls of dirt from around the hill around where This guy was buried, of course, on top of a hill. But eventually, in the 70s, somebody broke in and looted the tomb, and researchers didn't go there until relatively recently. When they went inside the tomb, what did they see? But all sorts of Greek writing and talk about this guy and his boxing career, and his sons were boxers and blah, 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 blah. So there's what you think you know. There's what everyone's done for hundreds of years or 1,000 years, and everyone's 100% certain with absolute religious certainty that you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And the truth is you really don't. You know what I mean? Something always comes from something. If you don't know what that is, well, you got to listen. Everyone has to go along with the zeitgeist. But the truth is oftentimes very jarring and completely at odds with what you believe the world to be. And this is a big problem with a lot of people. A lot of people can't process, and they're not going to be able to process the reality that's coming. And that's kind of like a concern I have. I was talking with a couple of women in cargo, and one was an older woman. I don't know how she got this job. She lived in England. Now she's here. And there was a younger Hispanic girl who's going to school for criminal justice, wants to be a parole officer. And I was like, really? I was like, do you have any idea what you're getting into with parole officers? And I think her family was involved with law enforcement. So she knows. And this older woman's like, well, what are you talking about? And it's tough. It's very, very, very difficult conversation, because it's not a conversation you can have in public, right? And I said, the reality of what the world is like, what crime is like, who does it, and what that whole process is very different from what you believe it is. It's completely different. It's nothing like what this woman believes it is. And she's not dumb, but she's whatever. She's like a housewife. She's a female. She's not real smart. She's not exposed to this, so she believes what she's told. And you aren't allowed to look into why things happen the way they happen. And last week's stream, I talked about there are literal now there are fantasy monsters, creatures of a demented imagination that just appeared in New York. These statues, gay Hebrew dragons, and a griffin, a rainbow griffin that will answer the question wrong, and you're going to die. But it's worse than that. And so let's start seeing what else I have here. Not quite yet. Well, this will make sense. This is I talk about New York a lot, one, because I'm from New York, but as New York goes, kind of like the rest of the nation goes. And this is not good. I mean, you knew it wasn't going to be good, but this is especially bad. When I think about the city and what the coming years are going to be like, it's absolutely insane. So Eric Adams, the incoming mayor, his new NYPD commissioner, which is a black female, she's being appointed in front of a mural that features Malcolm X, right? And he was a street hustler turned Islamist who ended up getting killed because he realized that Islam was a hustle. Nat Turner, famous, the slave thing, I don't remember. Angela Davis, the worst writer probably in American history. Huey Newton, one of the Black Panthers, and Assata Shakur, the auntie of Tupac Shakur, who was part of what was she part of, like the Symbionese Liberation Army or something like that? I think it was in the 70s, and they did an armored car holdup where they killed a guard, and she fled. She must have fled to Cuba, where she is still a fugitive from justice. But this is the mural you can see in the background. Maybe I'll make it a little bigger, but just the list of luminaries that the chief of police is going to be appointed in front of. This tells you that things are not going to be good in New York City. It's going to be I can almost not describe how bad it's going to be. And I mention this because New York kind of leads the entire world, like it leads the country. There's two George Floyd statues, one in Brooklyn and one in Manhattan, both of which have been defaced. One one of which was legit because they arrested the guy who did it. He was an unemployed actor, and he was caught on video in broad daylight throwing paint on that statue. But they've torn down your statues, put up their statues, and all the stuff with the chief of police being sworn in front of a mural featuring violent revolutionaries and terrorists and bank robbers. Like, how bad can New York get? Like, man, I don't know. Like, they've been doing this. When I look in the papers, like the last year and a half or so, last 2 years, what they call restorative justice. And basically what that means is we're going to empty the prisons. Not only are we going to empty the prisons and let all the murderers and drug dealers out, but we're going to wipe their records clean. They're going to have no more felony records. You know what I mean? This is the age we're moving into. New York's going to lead it, and then the rest of the country is going to go along with it. Chicago's doing insane stuff like now. I always see these stories out of Chicago where, somebody's some good boy shot somebody or murdered somebody, and now they don't even put them in jail. They put them on they put an ankle monitor on them and have them, stay at home. But of course, they just go out and they just go shoot somebody else. And that's happened like 60 times already in Chicago that they know about. You know what I mean? So the guy's on electronic monitoring and he just goes out and shoots somebody else. You know what I mean? And that's Chicago. So, the state, at whatever level, the city, the state, the federal government has endless fucking money for stupid shit, but not one more penny for new jail cells, right? They're not going to build any new prisons. No new jail cells. Their solution is empty the prisons, right? Here's what we're going to do. And we're going to wipe out these guys' records. So we won't be releasing 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 felons, murderers, rapists, et cetera, out into the world. No, they'll all be honest John Q citizen, just like you guys in the chat, no criminal record. They'll be just like you. Now, how long is that going to last? Not very long. We all know that, right? The recidivism rate is upwards of 85, 90%, particularly for good boys. So it won't be long before they're back where they started, but they'll go out and they will rip up things, and there will be carnage, and there will be all sorts of chaos and bad stuff as they get a second chance, which is really like their 300th fucking second chance. And I think a lot of people, again, like this woman I was talking to, she just doesn't know. Well, people don't know why this stuff happens. They don't understand that these guys have been arrested 10, 15, 20 times, that they've committed, like 600 felonies in their lifetime, and they're only 25 years old. You just don't know you have no idea that you're literally walking into a buzzsaw. And I would sometimes get anxious about this and try to think, well, how could I warn people? But I don't think you can. They're going to have their blinders on. There's things they won't look into. There's ways of looking at the world that they're just not going to look at the world that way. They're going to see it the way everyone tells them to see it. Like those Islamic people said, no, that's on top of that hill is where, whatever, Imam Suli, whatever was, and where everybody goes up there and takes a handful of dirt and prays for good luck, but it wasn't Imam Suli, whatever. It was some dead Greek guy from 2,300 years ago. You know what I mean? Who used to punch people in the face, back in the day. Speaking of which, there was this weekend, there was what was it? Jake Paul versus, what's his name? Tyrone Woodley, whatever, that rematch, which Jake Paul was supposed to fight Tyson Fury's brother or half brother, who pulled out of the match, and then they put Woodley in. So it was Paul Woodley 2, which ended in a quite a dramatic knockout in the 6th. So it's the reality of white guys knocking black dudes out on large live televised events is this year has been pretty amazing. It's very pretty funny to me. And then of course when you go on YouTube or social media and you look at the coping and the comments are gold. Watching their brothers try and cope with that, I think it's a lot of fun for me. The negative part, of course, is that when springtime comes, these guys are going to go nuts, and a lot of innocent people are going to get it 10 times worse than anything you saw on TV. But in the meantime, you got to have a laugh. Like I said, it's like it's Christmas, relax, try and have some fun, but enjoy that moment. You know what I mean? Enjoy watching that guy get literally like laid flat, which is something I don't think I've seen maybe in my entire lifetime. I grew up in an era of Muhammad Ali and all the rest. So, white boxers. And I'm not saying Jake Paul is a great boxer. It was a terrible boxing match. It was a horrible boxing match. As boxing, it sucked. It was horrible. But the ending was dramatic and final. And so, well, whatever, we'll take it. We will take it and have a laugh. Kind of an early Christmas present to put you in a better mood. But the stuff that we don't want to look at is, once again, it's all the conspiracy theorist people were right the entire time, and and this fits in with what I was just saying about them emptying out the prisons. They're going to empty out the prisons of real drug dealers, real murderers, real criminals, and try to put you in there, right? So on the left, how it started, anti-vaxxers are terrified the government will enforce a vaccine for coronavirus. That was February 2020. How it's going. New York legislation provides an indefinite detention of the unvaccinated at the governor's whim. So this is literally like you want to live in medieval times, where the governor of the province decides whether or not you get thrown into the dungeon. Well, they're going to recreate that for you, except, this is not a Hobbit story. You're going to be thrown into Rikers Island or some facility with real world monsters that you are not going to be able to, you're really not going to like that experience, right? And most people are not ready for this. And so they will get your compliance. They will absolutely get your compliance, because no one's going to think that it's worth it, right? And at the end of the day, this is what you have to ride through, right? This is what we have to ride through. This is the really bad part. Although the man pictured in this screen share is not Mayor de Blasio, the quote is directly from Mayor de Blasio. And as soon as it shows up, I'll read it to you. There it is. New York City Mayor de Blasio defends the vax mandates. Human beings are pretty predictable. If you say your paycheck depends on it, or your ability to enjoy life and go do the things you want to do, people will make the practical decision, but we're not pushing hard enough. And so statements like this fall into the, when people tell you who they really are, believe them, right? This isn't a question of, oh, I believe this or I don't believe this. They're telling you flat out. There's no interpretation. You don't need to, there's no nuance. There's no subtlety. You need to look at this and understand this is absolutely their way of doing business, and it's been their way of doing it. You know what I mean? This is better than the overly dramatic fantasies that people have, like, they're going to send assassins after you. They're going to send an entry team to kick in your door. No, they're not. No, they're really not. They're not going to do that. They're just going to make you homeless and starving, and everyone around you, and send a warning far more effective than any comic book movie plot that you have in your head. It's way more effective. And what was the other story? Like the FBI lost all the Epstein evidence, like all the CDs, all the hard drives. Amazingly, it's all just gone. They just lost it all. Was anybody surprised by this? Is anybody going to do anything about this? Of course not. But this is all going to go away because the people at the top wanted to go away. And if anyone who thinks, well, we're going to put in new people at the top and we're going to fix things. No, you're not. You know what I mean? Because the people at the top aren't even the people. Again, they answer to the central bankers. They don't answer to you. They answer to the central bankers, and the central bankers are the ones running the show. Things are going to go the way they want them to go, and you're just going to have to live with that, whether you like it or not. And you say you don't like it, and that's great, but you're powerless to stop it. You know what I mean? You're powerless. The idea that you're going to jump in front of it and make it stop is insane. Okay. What you need to do is kind of see the shape of it and protect yourself in advance, right? To think like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? What would I do? And the worst thing that could happen is you're broke and you can't get access to your money, right? You're ordered to do something insane. This was a great screenshot from someone you might not sympathize with, but I promise you, this is going to get more and more common everywhere, and it's sooner or later something like this is going to affect a lot of people. Does it come up there? There it is. Okay, this is a text message from an Amazon delivery driver. Having alarms go off and nothing but locked buildings around me is not sheltering in place. That's waiting to turn my van into a casket. Okay, that's an Amazon driver. That's a female, messages her boss that she's about to be caught in that tornado that just went through Kentucky or whatever. And the boss just says, keep on delivering, right? So, and Jeff Bezos has plausible deniability because the guys who drive the vans work for third-party contractors that are like on the individual level, last mile thing. It's like this. They're not direct Amazon employees, but understand, literally, they don't care if you die. Just keep making them profits. Again, when people tell you who they are, believe them. So if this is the world you live in, you need to prepare for it, right? You need to understand that something like this could happen to you. Now, maybe, I don't know what people's circumstances are. You say, well, it'll never happen to me because of X. Well, all right, possibly. But you need to understand that once this happens to enough people, the people that are on the shitty end of this, that are getting the fucking raw deal, they're going to stop caring about everything. When they lose their minds, they're really going to lose their minds, because there's no way they can explain, hey, I'm just trying to feed my family. I'm willing to deliver 300 packages a day for, just enough money to survive on ramen noodles. But then they want me to, they literally want me to die in a tornado. And I'm stuck in a tornado in my fucking van while no one gives a shit. And I can't, there's literally no place I can hide. Like the person who goes through that once or twice or three times. When they snap, they will really snap, and they're not going to have any consideration for you or anyone else. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that the more you can protect yourself, the more you can make yourself immune to insane demands like that, and recognize people who are having a nervous breakdown because of circumstances. Listen, you're not going to be able to intuit this from looking at them, right? You're just going to have to look and go, I don't know what that person's doing. Something's wrong there, and just go, leave, get out of there. Don't film it. Don't try to comfort them. Don't, just like, if they're not blood related to you, get away from there as quickly as you can, because the craziness that's going to come is going to be unmatched by anything you ever saw. And for those of you who comfort yourself with the phony fucking, with the cold comfort of IQ, like, oh, I'm so much smarter. Listen, your IQ doesn't mean shit. Your IQ is literally worthless. At the end of the day, you're gonna be living in an environment where you have to survive on your own. You know what I mean? Look into the state for anything. This is what they're doing in San Francisco right now, right? And the implications of this are fairly obvious. So this is just a printed notice that someone put in their car, right? Please do not break my window. I have nothing inside my car. No money, no CDs, nothing. Okay. Why do they have that? Because insurance companies do not cover the glass on your car. Somebody smashes your windshield or smashes your windows, that's not covered. That's not a car accident. Okay. And insurance companies are not going to offer that. So people are going to have to, like constantly replacing that glass is expensive. Trust me, it's really expensive. And then, this becomes too expensive to maintain and people leave. And then you have huge ghetto areas, empty areas, and wastelands where more bad stuff is going to occur, right? So, and the people who were living in San Francisco or whatever, whatever city that when they lose all faith in everything, where they're going to run to, and when they think, oh, I'll run to small town America and I'll be safe. I promise you're not going to be safe. It's just as bad there as it is in the big cities. You're just not seeing it as often. You're just not going to see it. So you're going to have to find a way to live like this, and again, protect yourself from of it. And considering your circumstances, I don't know what people's circumstances are, but stop expecting that a hero is going to come riding over the hill, with the cavalry behind him to save you, because it isn't going to fucking happen. And stop expecting the government or anyone else to save you, because that isn't going to happen, right? The government's going to let Amazon or corporate America just roll over people like a fucking steamroller. They're doing it now. They're going to keep doing it. This is the world you're going to live in. This is going to be the low trust, high violence, terrifying world you're going to have to adapt to, and you have to adapt to it. Complaining about it isn't going to change anything. You know what I mean? So you have to find strategies to adapt. Better you start now than when you find yourself in the middle of it. And if that means you become an Islamist and you forget that you're praying at the tomb of the Greek boxer and you're really praying to the Muslim whatever, I don't know. But things are definitely going to change, and probably not quick enough for a lot of people, and maybe not even quick enough for me. But this, I showed this like a couple months ago. Right, here we go. The inevitability of what I talk about, of the US dollar collapsing, is going to happen. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it might happen, I don't know, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. A couple of months ago, I talked about this, right? Turkey's President Erdogan declares war against Bitcoin. This story is from 20th of September, right? So literally, like, look at this, bang on 3 months ago, right? At the time, the Turkish lira was 8 Turkish lira to $1. Now, what do we have? What is the, where is it? Oh, here it is now. So in 3 months, this is the change from 8 lira to $1 to this. Almost 18 lira to $1. So their money has lost more than 50% of its purchasing power in 3 months, and it ain't going to get no better. I mean, for a lot of people, it's simple. Just imagine having to live on half as much money as you had 3 months ago. And 3 months from now, imagine having to live on half as much money again. All right? What would you do? You know, what are your expenses? What would you do? How would you behave? What behaviors are outside your thinking right now? I would never do X. I would never do Y. I would never allow this. I would never allow that. Yeah, cut your money in half. Cut your money in half again. 9 months from now, that figure might not be 18 lira to a dollar. It could be 180 lira to a dollar. Okay. The Central Bank of Turkey is playing all kinds of games. They're doing all kinds of stuff, just like all central banks are doing. And you can sit there and go, well, America's not Turkey, right? We're not, some fucked up Middle Eastern country, Byzantine, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, I get that, right? I get that Turkey is super corrupt. And it's Middle Eastern politics and all of that. That's all true, And you say, well, Bitcoin beat, the Turkish lira, so what? But Venezuela, El Salvador, Turkey, like nation after nation, central bank after central bank currency, fiat currency will fall to Bitcoin. When will the US dollar is the strongest one, and it will fall last, but it will fall. And it would be wise of you right now, because I think Bitcoin's only like $46,000 to start trading your US dollar for Bitcoin. Even though the dollar seems very strong, it won't stay that way. It just won't. The inevitability of all of these currencies going to zero, I don't think anyone can argue that. The central bankers are never coming to their senses. Them and their rich pals, they're never going to act in a moral way. They're not going to wake up in the morning and go, oh my God, I've been doing it wrong my entire life. Let me sell my private jet. Let me sell my super yacht. What do I need 5 mansions for? Why do I need my own personal helicopter? That's crazy. I'm going to work hard to make sure everyone has, sound money that provides them with a decent standard of living. Do you really think any central banker in any country is going to do that? I mean, you're like, I don't know how delusional you'd have to be, right? You'd have to be crazier than the people that think that that a new police commissioner being appointed in front of a mural with Eldridge Cleaver and Assata Shakur is going to make New York City a safer place. You've got to be that fucking crazy thinking, yeah, this is a good idea. Okay. So putting your faith in central bankers is a really, really, really bad idea. Putting your faith in elected officials to corral the central bankers and stop them from fucking shit up. Trust me, you are really fucking delusional. You know what I mean? People going, oh, Trump is beefing about Netanyahu and Trump is beefing about the Jews. So fucking what? You had your chance and you fucking blew it. You know what I mean? You had your chance and you blew it. Now you could say if he ever did anything, they would pop his melon like they popped Kennedy's fucking melon. Maybe. But until it all falls apart. And again, in America's going to be last. The US dollar is the strongest currency. And it will come last, but it will come. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, I don't give a shit right now. It's good. That's 10 years down the road. I don't know. Do you have family? Do you have children, grandchildren? Do you have do you think of the future? Do you have a future time orientation? Do you have a low time preference? What does that look like? What would you like to see? And you have a chance now to position what wealth you have before it's extracted from you and spit upstairs, to Jeff Bezos or fucking Larry Ellison or whoever, Mark Zuckerberg or Larry Fink at BlackRock. You have a chance right now to go, you know what, I'm going to take some of that. I'm going to put it in this thing that can't be touched, that can't be confiscated. And you know what, maybe 20 years down the road, I have a legacy that I can pass on to someone I care about. That's my worldview. And if someone could argue against it effectively, I'd love to hear that argument. By the way, the CEO of BlackRock in Germany just became the chancellor of Germany. It was going to be the new chancellor of Germany. I don't follow German politics, but I'd be really curious about the early life of the new chancellor of Germany to see if the early life experience is what we might think it is. But BlackRock, a BlackRock CEO, even not the American one, but the local one in Germany, becoming chancellor is just like right here in New Jersey. There's whatever Phil Murphy. I used to think the guy was only worth $50 million, but apparently he's worth over $100 million. He's a Goldman Sachs guy. And he runs New Jersey. Before him was John Corzine. Before him were others. There was a gay guy, what's his name, McGreevy. And then there was, I don't know who there was before McGreevy. It was a woman that was also a super rich Wall Street type. The world of finance, the world of Wall Street, the world of central banking, the world of stockbrokers, of counterfeiting is controlling entire states, of course, and now entire nations in Europe. And that's not going to change anytime soon until the money stops working. And your job is to navigate this tricky fucking path between here and everything falling apart. Now, hopefully it happens at the end of your life or after you've passed from this earth to your final fucking reward, but it might not. So you got to be an active participant in your own rescue. You really got to be an active participant in your own rescue or the rescue of things that you even that you believe in. Things that you care about. A lot of people, on these that go on these live streams, they talk a big game about caring about these big abstract ideas about the white race, and we have to stop white genocide, and the destruction of our people and our way of life, and blah 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 blah. Mostly it's big talking bullshit. But you might for once decide to put your money where your mouth is. This is a story I saw. I don't put a whole lot of stock in it, really, because I've seen stuff like this in the past. But sooner or later it may actually come true. So this is from the Global Times. I don't even know what kind of news outlet that is. But from December 17th, just recently, a couple of days ago, China and Russia to establish independent financial systems, right? Russia and China agreed to develop a shared financial system where they can do business with each other without the threat of international sanctions. That means without the threat of the U.S. stopping them. This is why China and Russia are our two big adversaries. It isn't because they have nukes, because China's had nukes since the 70s and Russia's had nukes since we gave them to them in the 1940s, the mid 1940s, right? When did they develop the bomb? 49, 50? So it's not like we have to worry that Russia might get nuclear weapons. They've already got nuclear weapons. The reason why Russia is evil and China is evil is because they're trying to develop an economic system that's not US dollar dominated. Are they going to succeed? I don't know. Like I said, I've seen stuff like this in the past. It usually comes to nothing, but who knows? Sooner or later, they may get it right. They may find a way. The crooks in China and the crooks in Russia may find a way to cooperate enough so that America can't really hurt them, and then that gives them a degree of independence that Washington ain't gonna like. But at the end of the day, what the fuck is Washington going to do? Both China and Russia do have nukes, and you don't get to push them around the way you get to push around the Iranians or the Syrians or these other small little countries that do not have that are not nuclear powers, right? And all the stuff, like I said, it's you're on the edge of things. This stuff is going to happen 5 and 10 years down the road, but why not prep for it now? Why not, start now when it's easy to do, and then you will be in a less desperate position when things really go fucking sideways. But they're determined to make things go as badly as they can go. The chief of police in the New York City Police Department, the largest police department in America is appointed in front of a mural depicting a communist revolutionary and a bank robber. Like if somebody wrote that in a fucking in a drug novel of the 1960s, no one would believe it. You go, no fucking way. I'm firmly convinced that the Roaring 20s are going to kick off, and the 2020s are going to be like way more insane than the 1920s were, because social media is going to bring it all to you in real time or close to real time, and it's going to stretch your ability to process things and manage your own fears. And that is something that nobody looks forward to. And then you'll have to, depending on, you're married, you have kids, what are their fears, what are their concerns, and like, can you talk to them in plain language or can you not talk to them in plain language? Like one of my nieces, whatever, she's, I try to post stuff to Facebook that I can get away relatively with Facebook. I don't know how many times I've been in Facebook jail. But one of my nieces was like all depressed a couple of months ago. Like she just doesn't want to be bothered at all. And part of being red pilled about the difference between the way you think the world is and the way the world really is. But you go through phases of anger and depression and whatever. And that's a process that everybody goes through at different speeds, and in different ways. But I was like, I sympathize with her, like I sympathize with you because I know where you are, like where I was, how many years ago. And you just hope that to come out on the other side. Well, obviously she's got kids, but it's not like she's not in danger of doing anything stupid, but that process in your head where you go, fuck, nothing I thought was true is true. Everything is far darker and scarier than I thought it was. And now what do I do? Judas Fly Chai, shalom. It's about time you shut up. Usually the first one here. Now you're late. Paxton's here. Virgil Dark Purple Heart's here. Paxton causing, ruffling feathers as old boomers are liable to do. But welcome from Los Angeles, California, home of Hollywood and all the gifts that Hollywood has given us. What else do we got? So this was funny. You're thinking like, okay, how crazy can the 2020s be? Like, really, James, aren't you fucking exaggerating? Aren't you just sitting there, you're drinking alcohol, you're being hysterical? Like, how crazy could it get? All right, I'll show you how crazy it can get. This is not what I think might happen. This is actually already happening. And I particularly enjoy this. This is a great story. And if you think this shit's going away anytime soon, you're wrong. From one of my favorite Twitter follows, what's his name? Ukraine CIA simulation warlord, whatever. Okay. Explosive-laden drone used by the cartels. So there's commercial drones that, with video cameras and stuff on them that you buy in stores. The Mexican drug cartels duct tape a bomb to a drone and fly the drone to your car, to your house, to your swimming pool to blow up over your head. From this December 16th, 2021. So, yeah, this is this is not good, right? All the drone strikes, right? The war on terror stuff, sooner or later, right? Somebody finds the low rent version of, the Predator drone. This is a Mexican Predator drone. Okay. And so, think about it. A couple of guys in a car, one of these things in the trunk of the car, right? They take it out, they fly it over to your house, they look for you, they see you on video, theoretically, right? And then they just fly the thing right next to your skull and detonate it. Think of how crazy that is. That's the world you live in now. You know what I mean? Are they doing it in major cities in America now? No, they're doing it. They're knocking off each other. You know what I mean? They're obviously they're looking for dominance in the drug trade. So they're looking to knock off each other. But how soon till there's a police chief that they don't like? You know what I mean? A police chief, a governor, or something like that they don't like, and the people that are technically in power, staring at the sky, terrified. You know what I mean? That a fucking drone with dynamite attached to it is going to blow up their family barbecue. That's how crazy things are, and stories like this are just like the very leading edge of this, the very bare beginnings of how crazy it's going to get. That's why I tell you, you have to think about how you're going to manage your fears and stuff, because all this stuff is going to come. This is going to come popping at you in ways you don't expect. And if you think the drug cartels, they wouldn't dare do X, Y, Z, trust me, the drug cartels will dare to do anything. They will dare to do anything. You know what I mean? And even if they don't dare, even if some dummy wants to be drone guy and he sends the drone to the wrong house and he blows up a federal judge, not the federal informant, there's going to be consequences of this. So, and the level of anxiety people are going to be experiencing from seeing this stuff floating around social media, and no matter how hard they try and clamp down on it, it keeps popping up. It's going to keep popping up in another platform, one way or another, and everyone's going to see it. In post Rittenhouse, there were a couple of flash robberies in San Francisco, and they mentioned these $1 million robberies. The good boys go 8, 10, 12 of them, 15, 20 of them, 30 of them, and a bunch of cars, and they go rip off Louis Vuitton or something, right? These flash robs, which I saw in the 90s. I saw this on Staten Island in the early 1990s. Yeah, early mid 1990s. That this can be done. Was the one in Chicago? The Chicago one I mentioned. Somebody went to a Lamborghini dealership, and inside the Lamborghini dealership, they had these $400,000 or $500,000 watches. How the fuck there could be a watch worth that much? I don't know, but whatever. So this guy goes in, good boy, with a hammer, boom, 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 smashes the glass case, scoops up the watches, runs out. Millionaire in 5 minutes. $1 million heist in 5 minutes. Right? It's not, you don't need to crack a safe. It's not like Mission Impossible where you got to dodge the lasers, you know what I mean? And hang from fucking wires like Tom Cruise and go up and down and do gymnastics and be a ninja. No, you just take a $3 hammer from fucking Walmart, smash the fucking case, and become an instant millionaire. And when that guy goes to jail and he says, yo, check it out. Yo, motherfucker. Yo. I'm a fucking $1 million whatever. I'm a $1 million Negro. And then everyone in jail is going to be like, fuck, I want to be one of those. That's going to inspire. And then now add that to restorative justice, where these guys are let out of fucking prison and their records wiped clean. Yeah. Can you see how crazy this could get? It can get really crazy. And as each criminal tries to fucking go viral, to be a superstar inside prison, because they're all going back in prison. The effect that's going to have on the real world, like I said, there will no longer be glass outside of stores. You know what I mean? There'll just be brick and concrete up there, and outside there'll be a screen that shows you whatever they sell or whatever is on sale. You know what I mean? And you won't be able to get in or get out without your 5G phone identifying you to let you in, so you don't loot, or whatever you loot, you'll be charged for one way or another. You know what I mean? And they'll figure out a way for you to pay for it one way or another. But, the supply chain will keep going, keep putting shit in fucking stores. Some good boy's going to fight with a cop. Cop's going to fucking shoot him. It's going to be George Floyd 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, looting everywhere. Insurance companies are going to go, listen, we're not going to keep fucking paying for this shit. You got to make this stop. We got to come up with something else. And then everybody gets, and they're going to scream bloody murder that, oh, you can't get in and out of a store without electronic ID, et cetera, et cetera. It's way beyond Vax Pass. It's going to be way beyond Vax Pass. You know what I mean? You're going to forget about Vax Pass in the blink of an eye. What they're trying to do now, which they're failing to do, because all the people that have gotten the jab have gotten the jab. And the people that are not getting the jab are not getting the jab. But they're going to make you bend the knee that you are not going to go into a supermarket or whatever, or have any access to anything until you do X. And the reason why is because people will just go in and take shit for, again, because of George Floyd 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And there isn't even any room to put them in jail anyway. Just let them go. So this is the world that's coming in the 2020s. You need to be prepared for that. You need, is it going to affect you? I don't know. But yeah, some way, one way or another is going to affect you. Directly, probably not. But psychologically, you need to prepare for seeing crazy shit, and know that it's coming. Don't get rattled by it. You know what I mean? Have a plan, and then how you're going to manage this. And don't, it can't be like alcohol. Like alcohol is fun, don't get me wrong, but it can't be like, oh, I'm going to drink until this goes away, because it ain't going away. You know what I mean? You got to have a different plan to manage all this stuff, and your family's concerns and stuff like that. How you gonna get through that? It's like, you need to do that. That's what you really need to do. And that should be your main focus. That, and like lift and get strong and learn how to run, because learning how to run is probably going to be the primary skill of the 2020. Running real fast with zero notice, like just instantly sprint. That's going to be like the apex skill of the 2020s. Right? Because it's like, what was the other thing? I got some notes. Those are my extensive notes. What do I have here? They made a big deal about this on Twitter. That guy fucking Manchin, Manchin. I don't know. I can't remember what his first name is. He's the senator from Virginia, West Virginia. And he's holding up the Build Back Better bill, like all this flood of money that's supposed to fucking whatever the fuck it's going to do. It's just going to be all wasted and pocketed. But what's the guy's name? Like something Manchin. I cannot remember. Senator Manchin, they call him. But he's like the conservative Democrat. Listen, he's not in danger right now, so he can be a dick. He didn't vote for whatever the fuck this thing is, and the stock market took a dump today, like, I don't know, 500 points or something like that. Like, oh my God, we can't have the stock market crash on Christmas. You know what I mean? You think I'm bringing black pills? The stock market is going to crash at Christmas. We can't fucking have that. You know what I mean? Historically, 50% of all retail sales are between like fucking Labor Day and fucking Labor Day and Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? From like September to February, that's when all the money's spent. People spending money on Christmas and all the holidays and stuff. So Manchin put a stop to the giant tidal wave of federal money, but he didn't stop it. You know what I mean? They'll find somebody else. They'll find some Republican who's interested in infrastructure or whatever, and they'll flip this guy. Meaning, when they flip this guy, they're just going to offer him something, offer his kid or his grandchild a fucking 6-figure job at some NGO. You know what I mean? Like, you get to be the fucking goodwill ambassador to fucking Liechtenstein or some shit like that. Your nephew or whatever. So, like, you know what I mean? It's going to be a payoff deal for your kid to go fucking party in Europe for the next 3 fucking years if you vote yes on this. You know what? And the guy's going to go, yeah, all right. You know what? That's my favorite grandchild. I know they're transgender, but whatever. Make them the goodwill ambassador to fucking France, so they can just drink champagne and have gay sex in Paris for the next 3 years and get out of my fucking head, get out of my hair and earn a six-figure fucking income. Yeah, sure, all right, I'll vote for that. That's what it's going to be. They'll find somebody to do it. They don't need Joe Manchin, I think the guy's name is. So they didn't stop anything. Like, this stuff isn't getting stopped. All right. The central bankers are going to get what they want. They're going to print more. They're going to spend more. They're going to devalue the fucking currency. Eventually, inflation is going to get worse, blah, 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 blah. And people are going to struggle and get desperate. And they're going to go to the Islamic shrine in the hill, and they're going to take a handful of dirt, and they're going to pray that things get better, but things ain't going to get better, because this has nothing to do with Islam or God. It has everything to do with the real world and central bankers and the value of money and how people transact and what value is and what is counterfeit and what is real. And that's going to be tough for a lot of the big groups. Are not going to be able to sort that out. Hopefully you can sort that out on an individual level and not fucking get squashed by this. Not get destroyed. That's the point of this show, right? Like, if I could kind of focus you a little bit from all the crap that's going around, God is real. Well, perhaps Judas Fletcher, are you like, wait, hold on. Are you proselytizing? Did you just say God is real? Or did you say God is real? Judas Fletcher. Are you attempting to convert the Goy to Judaism? I think you might want to be careful with that, young man, because converting the Goy without permission from the head rabbi in Tel Aviv could find some very real consequences. If you say God is real, or you're saying God is real. Tough question. You know what I mean? It's all a matter of the timing. It's all a matter of what you mean. Yes, in fact, if that's funny. Now, Judas Lightchild making a joke in the chat. I said God is real. Indeed, sir. Indeed. Well, at least in your worldview, at any rate. Everyone knows I am not a religious person. Like I said, something always comes from something. You cannot get something from nothing. So that everything was created from nothing is not logical. And I try, as much as I'm not a logical guy, I try desperately to cling to that, because that's the one thing that keeps me from fucking going under a lot of times. From going completely over the fucking falls, over Niagara Falls, down into the fucking and hitting those rocks, like desperately cling to what is logical and what is real. And I hope sometimes when I do this, when I do this thing in front of a fucking camera, that it helps you guys do the same thing, to hear stuff that you're not going to hear otherwise. And I'm not saying it's super valuable or anything like that, but it pays to hear stuff that you don't always want to hear. And even though there's nothing really original with what I'm saying, and there's nothing super, and I'm not like super fucking insightful, you know what I mean? Just try to dial people in because it can get very, very, very crazy. And every now and then, if somebody can just steady you and go, "Oh, hold on. Here's what you need to pay attention to." And even if it's just something funny, like, and I try to be as funny as I can be. Sometimes I don't always get a whole lot of opportunities. But knowing that there's a lot that's you cannot influence, right? And the best engagement you have with this is just sit back and laugh. Like, you know what? Get your bag of popcorn, or whatever it is, whatever. Hopefully it's a non-fattening snack. It's not like, chicken wings covered with ice cream and extra corn syrup or something like that on top. You know what I mean? Like, and just watch the circus. Judas Flychai in the chat. Man, let's go back on Norvin's. Norvin has not sent me any invitation, so I'm not going back there. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be like I said. I after I got kicked off his stream, I rage quit. I'm rage quitting after I've been kicked. It's like a guy gets thrown out of a bar, like, get the fuck out of here, you bum. I'm like, fuck you, I don't want to drink here anyway. It's sort of like that. But listen, Norvin's world is Norvin's world. You know what I mean? Whatever. Him and I have gone back and forth for a couple of years now. I don't have any problem with him. But he also has his audience, and he's, whatever. Like, let him run his show his way. It's true that I can go on there. One of the things for me, because they're all mentally ill fucking whack jobs over there and feds, I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. Like, it's fun for me. Like, I can say whatever I want to say, especially when I'm trying to keep myself awake, driving back fucking whatever hundreds of miles from whatever fucking place I have to go to make a living. That's kind of fun. It feels, I like that aspect of being able to say whatever I want. But even I can go too far, even for Norvin's crowd. You know what I mean? And when I point out the limits of their the rubber room that they live in, it gets a little uncomfortable. And my guess is there's back channel stuff between OV and Patrick Bateman. It's like, listen, kick this guy because, like if OV actually gasses himself, or Patrick Bateman goes back on opioids or whatever the fuck he used to do, then Norvin has to do 3 hours by himself, and it's tough. It's like, listen, it's not as easy to fucking sit here and do this and even pretend to be fucking interesting for the length of time that people do it, and these mega streams. The days of fucking 8, 10 fucking hour, 4, 5, 6 hour streams, they're all fucking gone. That's all gone. No one's going to have that much time. You got to get in, make a few points, look at how crazy this is, look at how nuts that is, take a drink. Every time something insane happens, take a drink, laugh, don't get behind the wheel of a car, don't handle firearms. But see you guys next week. Like, we know the world is crazy. It's going to get crazier. If you can come to some place like this and hear stuff that, okay, it's not propaganda. I'm not getting paid to say this. So you're like, all right, it's whether you agree with it or you disagree with it, you think it's timely or you think it's fucking irrelevant. It's like legit, and you can kind of chill, like, right? It's our little club. It's our little club where we can say what's forbidden to say, So that's why I try to do this on the regular, because I think a lot of people, and it even happens to me a little bit, not that much, but because I have a lot of IRL interaction with a lot of different people, because I'm out of my house every day. I'm in different states every day, dealing with doctors and airline fucking pilots and cargo people and fucking all sorts, what I mean? Like, I have a lot of interactions IRL, but for people who I think a lot of people are just online, they just look at the world and it's all this crazy digital world and they don't know what to make of it. They don't know how to act or react. And so if they can find their way here, if they can tolerate my obnoxious opinions, and sit back and chill a little bit, it might help them sort through the world a little better, because I get through this, with no government or corporate sponsor. I don't have a family to fucking, put me up in high style where I can pretend to be whatever, a bisexual YouTube Nazi or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? I could pretend to be whatever fucking Bateman, like all these people. Like, I don't have any of that. I'm a dude who works for a fucking living. I fucking work my ass off all fucking week. And then I fucking lift and try and stay strong. And IRL and fucking in my real world interactions, I make people laugh all the time. Like, I don't just do this shit on fucking on YouTube, um, because I have some sympathy for people, even though they don't necessarily look like me or fucking agree with me. But this is fun. Like, you know what? To be honest, all day I was pissing and moaning how fucking sore I was. I do these fucking Stuart McGill things. You know, nobody knows who Stuart McGill is. He's like the world's greatest fucking spine expert, and he's a rehab guy. All the UFC fighters go to him. All the NFL guys go to him when they're injured. But anyway, he's got some exercises and stuff, which I've been doing because I sit all the time and my back is not strong. So I'm trying to make my back strong. And I was doing real well with like this level. And I was like, let me fucking kick it up to the next level. And I've been so fucking sore and like almost crying how sore I am. But, you know what? I'm getting stronger and I feel better overall. And all day I was just crying. Like, I just feel like shit. And then I was like, you know what? I'll do a stream. And then like the adrenaline starts pumping and I'm ready to go. Like, so, but there are other people that don't have that. Like, they don't have, they live their lives in ways that are not, they don't have the outlets that I have. So if all you got is what you see on your screen, and dude, ladies and gentlemen, I fucking totally understand nonstop fucking like staring at a fucking screen. It's so addictive, so bad. To pretend that it doesn't have an enormous pull, fucking hooks into all of us, is to be dishonest. So that has to be managed in a way. Like, I guess, like I said, for me, I have a lot of IRL interactions, so that keeps me grounded to the life I used to live before the internet, or before I was a what the fuck am I? A niche? Whatever the fuck is it? Oh fuck! My internet micro niche YouTube star. Whatever the fuck was it? I can't remember what the thing is. Whatever. That's that. But you have people with stupid agendas, various different stupid agendas, all over social media. And that's mostly falling apart now. It's going to continue to fall apart. And then very few people are being straightforward with you. And I can afford to be straightforward because it doesn't cost me anything. And, you know, I'm not trying to be the most popular guy. I'm trying to be the guy that's, you know, I'm trying to be me. Which is largely what I'm doing. Anyway, where are we right now? We are at, it's 10:17. I have food in the next fucking room. I gotta go eat. I gotta heat it up and eat. Anyway, we are 1 hour, 15 minutes into this. Once again, everyone, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Well, I'll see you before New Year, probably. Try to connect with whoever you can connect with, family, friends, whatever. If you can't, you know, like, don't be too desperate and don't be too crazy. It's going to be a wild ride, but you can definitely survive it. You can definitely survive it. Have fun. Enjoy Christmas. Hope it's Christmassy-ish where you are. And you can be around people that like you well enough and you like them well enough. Have some good food. You know what? It's sing the songs, do whatever, do what you do, like, just do the thing. You know what I mean? And whatever, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for everybody for showing up. Virgil Doc, the Boomer Paxson, Judas Fly Chai, who's now practically spamming my chat. But yeah, I'll talk to all you guys next week. And let us find the outro music. Hopefully the computer won't crash when I click on the outro music. But this is why Bob Paxson fucks everything up. I'm going to blame everything on him. I will beat him up endlessly. Why? Because it's fun. It's fun, and what else are you going to do with an audience as small as this, with a micro audience? You can actually engage with people quite a bit. So that's a fun aspect too. Good night, everybody.